A friend whom I haven't heard from in a long time told me, "When I think of you, my heart is just broken and I miss you." So I wanted to reach out, but I didn't have the courage to do so. He was a friend I had lots of fun working with on the mission field together. And I know just what it's like for him to not have the courage and not know what to say. When I was healthy, my senior friend was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I didn't know what to do, so I just went to early morning prayer and prayed diligently. I would often send him a message saying, "I'm praying, stay strong." After he passed away, his wife said, "He missed people so much and just waited." A close friend of the church was battling a disease, and we didn't do much on the excuse of being busy. But he liked it so much when we occasionally visited him to worship together. Even while sick, he traveled for his job and went to Korea as a business consultant. He collapsed and never returned to his family in America. On a business trip to Korea, I visited his hospital room and comforted him. And as I entered the airport on my way to America, I thought about how much he wanted to come here as he missed his family back home. Now I'm in the same situation, and I see people who are different from me. People who frequently check up on me. People who talk to me even though I can't respond. People who come close to me every time they see my poorly broken body. People who treat me like someone they have known for a long time, even though they never knew what I looked like when I was healthy. Now I know how to be a true comforter. Although we humans are created in the image of God, we are separated from Him by our sinful nature, so we must be saved through Jesus and give and receive comfort from each other because of our imperfections and weaknesses. However, one of the things that prevents us from being good comforters seemed to be the good person syndrome. As a child, I unknowingly developed the good son syndrome growing up under a strict military father. I left no room for my younger siblings growing up, and no room for my wife at the beginning of our marriage. But when I finally gave other people the room to stand, I became a good leader, a good debater, and a good counselor. I began to put myself in other people's shoes and showed consideration. In return, that person felt respected and opened up their hearts to me. I did this in teamwork, in meetings, and relationship conflicts. There is a man named Job in the Old Testament, and he's said to be the most wonderful man among the peoples of the East. One day, misfortune comes to him. He loses all his property, his 10 children are killed, and a terrible disease comes down upon his body. What was worse, he couldn't figure out why he had to suffer like this. One day, 3 close friends came to comfort him when they heard he was going through such terrible suffering. These 3 friends, who came to comfort Job, showed this good person syndrome. From the perspective of a good or righteous person, they had a preconceived notion that there must have been some reason for this curse, and they began to condemn rather than comfort their friend Job to reveal the reason for his suffering. As I am in the midst of suffering from such a curse, I wonder what it means to be a true comforter. One day, I watched a comedy show where a senior entertainer gave the following advice to his juniors. The life of an entertainer is a reaction. A good comforter seems to be someone who is good at reacting. By that, I mean crying with those who cry and laughing with those who laugh. They put themselves in the same situation as those who are suffering and those who are grieving. This is a quote I read from an article. Because of you, there are people who find happiness and smile and live with longing for you. When the sadness is too great to bear alone, There are people who believe in a great promise that you will come running to whenever they call, waiting for you and looking at you with longing eyes. Feeling like I am imprisoned in my own body is not an easy pain for me. Even after hearing the critical news of my father and acquaintances, I couldn't go to him or even hold his hand. But now, even if this pain persists and this disease does not get better, I pray that God will use me to heal and restore the fragile bodies and broken hearts of others. I pray that my weakness will not be an object of compassion or sympathy, but a channel for spreading the gospel. And help me to be a comforter who comforts and saves others through the pains of this disease, just as Jesus showed love by suffering on the cross to save me. I am thankful to those who stood with me, prayed for me, and comforted me as I passed through the mountains and valleys of suffering. When I was in a difficult place, the comfort I received from God and you gives me the strength to comfort and intercede for others.